So I'm going to try and go through the signal manipulator. So we've got a signal manipulator. Signal manipulator allows you to manipulate signals in various ways. The most common perhaps is to ramp up a value up and down. So let's actually use a switch, and you put signals into it through the top part of the signal, and then the manipulated signal, after it's done its stuff, will come out of the right side of that same part, and that's shown on here as well. It also has on the face of it, it shows you the inputs and the outputs going on, the inputs being on the left, the outputs being on the right. So if we made it actually do something, so let's have a value slider, plug that in there so we can see what's going on. It's sending out the same signal as it receives, but now let's add some settings. So if we give it some output smoothing, then when it goes up, then it will take 2.5 seconds to get to that value if we play time. That, and it will kind of ease out, which means it starts faster and it ends slower. Starts faster and then it ends slower. And then you can have the same for smooth fall, and starts faster and ends slower as well. There's freeze, so if you turn that on and then freeze it and then turn it off, it's freezing whatever output it had at the time, ignoring whatever is going on with the input stuff, and then when you unfreeze it, then it will catch up again. So let's say you had it on and then it would slow fall, then when you turn off freeze output, it will slow fall to the value it's meant to be, which is 0. Bypass allows you to say that it ignores all of this stuff. So let's just give it something more interesting. I'll explain this in a sec. So let's expand this as well. So it just shows us the value. So it's outputting weird values basically. If you say that it will bypass, then it will send whatever actual value is coming in, and it will send it out the other side without manipulating it in the middle. And I believe that works for this as well. There are other remapper modes, so this one it doesn't do anything apart from this smoothing stuff. This is pulse on input on. So when we turn it on, it flickers for a moment, going out. As you can just about see, it's flickering 1, and you can see on the face of this that it goes full and then to nothing again. A pulse is it sends a 1 signal and then it sends a 0 signal the frame after. So it's useful in particular situations like triggering a setting or whatever. So if you have like if you have a timeline and you can see it playing through, and then you put this into the restart timeline, then when you turn this on, when you turn this on, it'll reset it and then allow it to play. And because this is a triggering input, so that can be useful for those kinds of inputs. Invert output turns 1s into 0s and 0s into 1s, but also if I remove that and have a regular slider and wire that in instead, then it actually does changes the value between those values. So if we're at 1, it's 0, 0 at 1, 0 at 1, but somewhere in between, so 0.7 is 1 minus 0.7 is 0.3, so it outputs 0.3. And if you go below 1, it just does 1 minus the number. So if you have minus 0.6, it's going 1 minus negative 0.6, which is 1.6.
I'd like to thank Dead MC, Bobby Love, X Cantaloupe, and all of my other supporters for making this tutorial possible. Thanks for watching. If you'd like me to continue making these tutorials and helping creators across the internet, you can find out how to support me in the link in the description. Thanks for your consideration, and I'll see you in the next one.